Welcome back to the channel. Finally back in the shop. Fall's a busy time for me, and just try to get everything done before winter gets here. So I've been taking a little time off, but I'm back in the shop today. Today we're going to be working on the rocker arms for the 8-horse Mogul. They need new roller pins, and those are held in with taper pins, so we're going to be machining all that and painting them and putting them together. I don't have a lot of footage of the way that they were before I started, but I'll try to dig something up and then we'll get going. So let's get to work.
Well, here's an early picture of that 8-horse Mogul. Shows the rocker arms there in the front of the engine. They pivot back and forth like a seesaw and transfer the cam motion of the camshaft to the valves. These are quite spindly parts and can break quite easily. A lot of times these Moguls have broken rocker arms, but mine are in good shape. They just have some wear on them, and we're going to make new pins for the rollers. Here's a close-up of one of those roller pins. You can see the wear in the middle of it where the roller was running. It's pretty common on these engines to have wear like this. The pin that was in it wasn't even a taper pin. It was just some pin that was mushroomed in with a hammer. So we're going to fix all that. Here's a view of how the assembly goes together. I got the pin set in there backwards, but the taper pin goes through the one of the forks, holds the pin in place. The roller sets between the forks. And here's a shot of the rocker arm itself. So a taper pin is just that, a pin that has taper on it, unlike a dowel pin that's straight. This taper is a 1/4 inch per foot, and that is a locking taper. So when the parts are put together and the pin's placed in it and punched in, it locks in place. And the one we're going to be using is a number 2 that is 1 inch long. Over on the closing lathe now, got some 3/4 inch bar stock. It's nominal 750 thousandths. Going to take it down to somewhere around 625 or 5/8 inch. This stock is a little hard to get the feeds right on it. Ended up playing around with it a little bit and got a feed rate that works pretty well with about a 35-40 thousandths cut. Makes a nice finish. It's kind of how it works sometimes on this manual machining. I'm not a machinist, so I just got to play around with the feeds and the rates and find something that works for the particular piece of material I have. So we're going to make a few passes here and get this down dimension, and then start test fitting it to the roller and the rockers. Here's a view of the machining process from the tailstock end. Lathe looks like it's turning clockwise, but it's not. It's actually turning counterclockwise. It's the camera effect there. I'm turning about 400 RPM, again taking about a 35-40 thousandths cut here. Seems to machine pretty nice. So just a little different view of machining. Here we are a few minutes later. Going to do a test fit here. One of the rollers goes on there real nice. You can see how messy it is before I cleaned it up. And then we'll take one of the rocker arms here and try it. And it seems to fit really good. So I think we're done. We're ready to part the parts off and get on the mill. Got one of the rocker arms jigged up on my Bridgeport. Got a special drill bit here. It's got the taper necessary for a number 2 taper pin, and the way you use it is you run it clear in through the part, clear to the top of the flutes, and then it's got the right angle in it for the taper pin. I did pre-drill the pin I made on the lathe with an 1/8 inch hole just as a clearance hole to help this drill bit not to have to do so much work. And it does look like the drill bit's getting close to the table there, but that's just an illusion from the camera. I had quite a bit of space there. So anyway, Bridgeport makes easy work of this, and so there's one done, and I'll do the other one off camera. While I'm waiting for the paint to dry on the rocker arms, I'm going to make some mount bolts for mounting the engine base to this skid. I need 6 of them. They're going to be 5/8 inch bolts. They're going to be about 10 inches long, and I need 6 of them. So got some bar stock here I got cut off with the bandsaw, and I'm just putting some starting threads on there, and then I'll finish it up with a tap and die. This is a good way to get the tap and die to start straight. The lathe is in back gear, so it is turning very slow. It's not a camera illusion there. So I'm just putting a few threads on here to get the tap and die started, and then we'll be done with this part. Close up of cutting threads here. It's a special insert that does this, that does the 60-degree threads here, standard in the United States. I'm cutting a 5/8 11 threads, so 11 threads per inch, and this process is just repeating over and over the same operation, and each time you advance the carriage in a little bit to cut a deeper groove, and I'm just cutting some grooves here so I can get the die on there for a square thread process. Here I am using the die to do the final pass on the threads. This is a good way to get threads cut pretty fast. Cutting them single point on the lathe is very time consuming and not necessary when you're making bolts, because you don't need to have a lot of concentricity on it. So I just use the lathe to get the basic profile started, and then I can use the dies to finish them up. But it did take some muscle to cut this thread. By the time I did this 12 times, 2 on each bolt, I was pretty tired. So anyway, get this all done, and then we'll get them mounted on the engine too. So maybe my paint's dry now. Here's a picture of the 6 bolts that'll hold the engine to the skid, and I'm going to use these really nice heavy pattern old square nuts to hold it all together. Here's the engine base and cylinder sitting on the skid before we bolt it down. Notice the pinstriping I had done. I was able to look at an original 8-horse engine and copied that scheme for pinstriping. There were many types of pinstriping done, but I copied this one original engine. Here's a close-up of the artwork on the water hopper. We'll put one of the bolts in so you can see how that works, then I'll do the rest off camera. These bolts are 10 inches long because there's a cross member underneath each one of those top planks, and it has to reach all the way through that. It's drilled all the way through those. So 10 inches to the bottom of the bolt, and there's a total of 6 of them, 3 on a side. And notice that dolly in the front that I made that goes underneath the front of the skid. There's one in the back too, so I can move this around in the shop now, because the whole thing right now probably weighs about 1,600 pounds. So quite heavy, so I needed something to kind of roll it around with. Got all the bolts in the skid. We're over on the bench now. Going to put this rocker arm together. I was really pleased with all the fits I got on the pin and the tapered hole and the roller to the pin. So you can kind of see how it goes together here. I'll do the other one off camera. This video is kind of all over the place. It seems like I just had a couple of things I wanted to get done, and I just put them in here with this rocker arm work. And in the next video we'll actually be looking at the cylinder, the valve cages rather, and the valve seats, and we'll be machining those and cleaning those up. They're rather pitted. So get all this slid together here and get the hole lined up for the taper pin, and then be able to drive that home. Just tap it in there, and it sets quite well. You don't have to drive it real hard. Doesn't require that at all. In fact, you got to be careful about that because you can break the casting. So you can see that the roller is free to turn and there's not much play in it. So I was quite pleased with that, and I'll do the other one off camera. And that's it for this video. Got the rocker arms polished back up there, look pretty good. Paint looks good. They look distorted from the camera. They're not bent like that. But anyway, thanks for watching the video, and next video we will be looking at the valve cages and the seats in the valve cages and doing some grinding on those. So stay tuned for that, and like and subscribe if you like the channel and what we're doing here, and leave a comment. I sure enjoy reading those. So we'll see you in the next video.